If the word on the street is correct, then this phone, powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip and also featuring a flagship grade rear camera system, will be priced well under 40,000 rupees. Hello everyone, I'm Mani of Fiber by India Today and welcome to my review of the iQOO Neo 9 Pro in this ravishing red and white finish. Now with this phone, I think so that history is going to be repeated. You see, last year the OnePlus 11R was released and it redefined the flagship killer smartphone space in India. But then in the later months came the iQOO Neo 7 Pro with a similar sort of hardware and specs but at a lower price point. Similarly, the OnePlus 12R launched a while ago and we have a very good impression of the phone. Its pricing is superb and all is good and dandy. However, can the iQOO Neo 9 Pro with its similar sort of hardware and specs one up the OnePlus 12R? Well, let me tell you all the good and bad about this phone in this video, but of course, before we get rolling with the rest of the stuff, consider hitting that red subscribe button for detailed tech videos and also turn on the bell so that you don't miss any of our latest updates. With that said, let's get started. After using a bunch of phones across price segments, I am delighted to use the iQOO Neo 9 Pro. Now don't get me wrong, this is a big phone but it is quite ergonomic. First up, the squared off design along with the red frame looks absolutely eye-catching. In fact, the last red phone I remember using was the OnePlus 5T and I'm glad iQOO has come up with a red finish on this device. However, turn it to the back and you see the slight curves on the sides. There's a two-tone red and white finish. The rear panel is faux leather, so the grip is fantastic. I mean, not even for a moment I felt like I was using a big phone because unlike other big phones, this one is quite handy. Now, partly the reason behind the handy and lightweight design is the plastic frame, whereas a phone like the 12R uses a metal frame, which is great. But again, if a phone is so comfortable to operate and honestly doesn't feel cheap in the hand, I am all in for the design inclusions. Other than this, the positioning of the buttons is apt and they offer good tactile feedback. A slightly higher placed fingerprint sensor would have been great, but given the phone doesn't feel heavy while using with one hand, I am all okay with the fingerprint sensor. Moreover, it is fast and accurate as ever, so no complaints whatsoever. Now, I really wish that iQOO would have added an IP rating to this phone just like the 12R does it. But then again, in order to undercut the competition in terms of pricing, I think so they had to go with this move. Alright, on to the front, and this is where the phone boasts an overhaul of upgrades over the Neo 7 Pro's display. So while the screen size is the same at 6.78 inches, it's an LTPO AMOLED panel, so it should be pretty efficient. The resolution has been slightly bumped. There's a 144Hz refresh rate now, there's 2160Hz PWM dimming for eye safety, and finally the peak brightness is now 3000 nits while the display supports 1400 nits in high brightness mode, which is still 100 nits more than Neo 7 Pro's peak brightness. So with all the upgrades, a flat panel and slim bezels all around, the Neo 9 Pro's display is a delight for the eyes. I mean, the only eyesore would be the larger than usual hole punch camera, but the display quality itself is good. The panel is bright, vibrant, punchy and has superb contrast. The dual speakers on the Neo 9 Pro are also pretty decent and get plenty loud. Basically, watching movies and shows on this phone is a great experience as this display does not disappoint. The iQOO Neo 9 Pro is powered by the last generation Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip, comes with up to 8GB or 12GB RAM options and 256GB storage standard on both variants. First up, the benchmark numbers on your screens in comparison to the Neo 7 Pro, and by now everyone knows how good the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is and it just shows. Well, yes, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 might be the newest kid on the block, but the 8 Gen 2 is still plenty fast even by 2024 standards. And you know, the performance chops show up in the real world too. You see, while for general tasks, both the Neo 7 Pro and Neo 9 Pro are pretty apt, so things like calling, browsing, texting, etc. are a piece of cake for both the 8 Plus Gen 1 and 8 Gen 2 chip. The difference basically shows up in speed and responsiveness. At this time, the 8 Plus Gen 1 has actually caught up with time, and under heavy loads, the 8 Gen 2 inside the Neo 9 Pro is fast, responsive and very smooth in comparison. Even when it comes to gaming, the experience is a whole lot better on the Neo 9 Pro simply because of the upgraded screen, which is more vibrant and bright, but also for the peak performance chops the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 brings to the table. Of course, for all the raw power and the speed that this hardware provides, the software on board also deserves credit. So the software here is the tried and tested FunTouch OS 14 atop Android 14. The UI is light and smooth thanks to the animation tweaks and a decluttered design. Yes, the bloatware problem exists, but most of the unnecessary stuff can be uninstalled. As for multitasking, apps stay open longer and switching is seamless. Privacy also takes center stage with features like hidden apps, clone apps, as well as app lock with an altogether different password. Granted, some might find the extra UI elements unnecessary, but the level of customization is impressive here. Overall, the FunTouch OS 14 software elevates your overall user experience on the Neo 9 Pro. I mean, the experience itself is powerful, it's personalized, it's easier on the eyes, and it's even easier to use. Okay, on to the endurance bit. So the battery has been bumped from a 5000 mAh unit on the Neo 7 Pro to a 5160 mAh unit on the iQOO Neo 9 Pro. However, the charging is still the same and fast as ever at 120 watt, and the charger is supplied in the box. Again, almost similar battery sizes on the new and previous gen models. However, with the more efficient 8 Gen 2 chip and optimized software, the Neo 9 Pro really shines when it comes to excellent power consumption under heavy loads. So while in terms of general usage, both the Neo 7 Pro and Neo 9 Pro may perform kind of the same, when it comes to the taxing stuff like using the camera, playing games for long and watching stuff in HDR, that's where the better endurance of the Neo 9 Pro starts showing up. For perspective, an hour of gaming usually, depending on your mileage, would drain about 13 to 15% of battery in an hour, while an hour of watching media content on this device would drain about 5 to 7% battery. The iQOO Neo 9 Pro features a 50 megapixel IMX920 rear camera paired with an 8 megapixel ultra-wide angle camera and a 16 megapixel front camera for selfies. By default, the primary camera of the Neo 9 Pro captures detailed and crisp photos in good light. Even the digital zoomed shots also turn out sharp. Moreover, shots taken in portrait mode also stand out with quite accurate edge detection and a natural background blur. Simply, the main camera at the default 1x mode is able to take photos with vibrant colors and accurate tones. In fact, human skin tones are also captured quite accurately from this camera. As for the ultra-wide angle lens, I would say its quality is just about okay, and if the camera is not held at the right angle, photos do suffer from barrel distortion around the edges. Now, low light photos also look quite impressive. Highlights and shadows are balanced well. The dynamic range is great and the details are sharp given you hold the camera steady. And while I didn't notice any visible noise in the photos, the sky's color is aggressively blue, which granted does not look bad, but of course isn't as natural looking as you would want it to be. Finally, selfies taken in good light exude natural skin tones with good amounts of detail. In fact, shots taken in the dark also turn out sharp and nice given you have decent amounts of environmental light around. So this right here is the rear facing video sample shot on the iQOO Neo 9 Pro. Of course, this phone can shoot up to 8K 30 FPS, while this is the 4K 60 FPS recording. And this is the kind of quality that you get. Of course, the colors look amazing, quite accurate. What do you think about the audio? And I'll also show you the stabilization. So this is the kind of stabilization that you get. So what do you think about the overall video quality from the rear camera of the Neo 9 Pro? Let me know in the comments. And next up is the selfie video. Now this is the selfie video being shot on the Neo 9 Pro, and of course colors look amazing, the HDR performance is good and dynamic range is also quite fine. Now the only problem, unlike the rear facing camera, is the fact that you don't get stabilization. The stabilization is not that good on the front camera while recording the video. So yeah, that could have been improved, I think so. But otherwise, the front facing video quality is right about decent. This is the kind of quality that you get. Of course, how does my audio sound and what do you think about the overall thing? Let me know in the comments. The next up is the verdict. Summing up, for the upgrades, the power-packed performance and the well-tuned cameras, the iQOO Neo 9 Pro is a worthy upgrade over the iQOO Neo 7 Pro. So much so that I can see history repeat itself, because if the Neo 9 Pro is aggressively priced, it can give a run for the money to the OnePlus 11R, similar to what the Neo 7 Pro did to the OnePlus 11R. Of course, in comparison to the OnePlus 12R, the iQOO Neo 9 Pro does miss out on the metal frame, a 16GB RAM option, an IP rating and a larger 5500 mAh battery. But the phone more than makes up for it by offering a 144Hz screen, a 120W fast charging and a peak brightness that can actually be utilized by content available online. Rest, a full-blown battery drain test video comparison between the iQOO Neo 9 Pro and the OnePlus 12R is in the works, so if you don't want to miss that, then definitely stay tuned to the channel. For now, Fiber rates the iQOO Neo 9 Pro a solid 8.5 out of 10. Rest, you guys let me know your thoughts about this phone in the comments below, and as always, for all the latest in tech, stay tuned to Fiber. I'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you for watching.